Hey John, how are you?
Hey, Tiffany, I'm great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm good. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm a native of Maine. I grew up in Maine, in Augusta, Maine. Went to college in Maine. Just never left Maine. This is a beautiful state. I love the four seasons. Um, I'm a coach. I coach my son's teams. I used to coach my daughter's teams, but she's in high school now, so it's a little beyond me. And love the outdoors.
Awesome. Very cool. Um, so we're kind of talking about those first years in real estate, right? And how many years have you been in real estate so far?
So I started in 2019, so
Okay.
3 years
So pre-COVID.
pre-COVID.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. What brought you to real estate?
So I've always been intrigued by real estate. I went to a couple of rich dad seminars and um, just really liked the aspect of what you could do and what real estate could do.
Okay. What'd you do before real estate?
So before real estate, I was in the broadline food distribution business. I was in sales for 20 plus years, different companies. Always wanted to work for myself. So that's another thing that intrigued me about real estate, and didn't like having that boss every day. With different mindset than I had. So eventually found Keller Williams, and it's been a dream ever since.
Awesome. Um, so taking you back to 2019, what month did you start in 2019?
I started in June.
Okay. So you had a few months before COVID had hit. Do you remember what did it feel like? What were your thoughts around getting into the business and what it looked like at that point?
Yeah, great question. So when I got started, I had come from a business, like I said, of 20 plus years experience. I felt like I knew that business in and out. And I got into real estate, and I felt like there was a lot I desired to learn, and there was a lot that was unknown. So I dove into the training aspect of it, which is what I love about Keller Williams. We're so big on training.
Yep.
I really dove into that, worked with my productivity coach, and just was trying to grasp every bit of information I could, because I felt like I came from an industry where I was the expert, and I felt like I wanted to be an expert in this industry as well.
Awesome. So did you take some time to get the education or did you get right into business?
So I really dove into the education piece first. Um, Hindsight, I probably could have balanced it out a little bit better and gotten into production a lot sooner.
Okay.
But again, I was a little hesitant because I wanted to be that expert and wanted to have the answers. But again, hindsight, the answers are out there, and there's easy ways to find them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And I'm assuming what you thought it looked like to have a transaction and what it really looked like to have a transaction was a little bit different.
very different. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Simple, not easy, right?
absolutely. So what would you say first few transactions, how did you get through the unknowns? What were your go-to resources?
So a lot of it was the coaching program, which I, couldn't have done it without. Speak very highly of the program, and it's continued to evolve and even get better from when I started. And the person that introduced me to Keller Williams was a great resource for me as well. And just everybody had a piece of it, really. I'd walk down the Market Center Hall, and there'd be somebody there that could answer a question for me and was so willing and able to answer those questions, which to this day still astounds me, because I came from an industry where it was extremely competitive in that aspect, where any advantage you could have, you kept it.
Yep.
You didn't share any secrets or how you did things. And that's what I love about Keller Williams. We're very open about systems and sharing things.
Absolutely, because we all succeed through one another.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. They say you always remember your first. How did you get your first piece of business?
Yeah. So actually, my first piece of business was from somebody that was in the food business.
Okay.
Was a chef at one of the establishments I used to know, and I made a connection, and to this day we got even closer as friends. So I had that monkey mind where mindset where I was a little afraid of it, and we ended up getting closer as friends, and to this day we do more than we ever have before.
That's awesome. You started talking about the monkey brain, right? What were your limiting beliefs at the beginning?
So my limiting belief was that I had to know everything, and and as you know, with the years of experience that you have, every transaction is different. There's so many different things that can happen, questions that come up that, I didn't need to be the expert that I thought I had to be when I got started.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What does your support system look like? Like family, coaching, classes, like what does that look like then? What does that look like now?
Yeah, so I love coaching and I love that part about Keller Williams. The productivity coaching was where I started, and that really helped jumpstart me with getting the support that I needed for that. My family has always been there to support me no matter what I did, and they continue to support me today with little motivation tips or encouraging words or those sort of things. And that goes from my immediate family down to my parents were huge supporters of it. And I think my dad secretly wanted to be an agent, not a secret agent, but an agent in real estate years ago, and just never got into it for whatever reasons. And so I think they're having fun hearing about my success.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm sure, I know personally in my business, there's tons of breakthroughs. And even in your 3 years, can you just share some of your breakthroughs?
Yeah. So one that I'm most proud of is I was working towards getting into the luxury division. And this year I landed my first luxury listing. It was a friend of mine who I knew from hockey, and they were moving out of town and we're looking for somebody. And it was such a joy to work with them and help them. And knowing the fact that when they talked to me about it, that if they could get a certain amount for their house, the husband was going to be able to retire. And they're in their probably mid-40s. So I was like, wow, that's amazing. I'd love to be able to help somebody out like that, especially a friend and somebody I know and care about. So when that whole happened, it was just such an amazing feeling, and continue to work on that luxury end of things. So that was one of my biggest breakthroughs that I was most proud of. And
let's talk about lead generation. What did it look like back then? What did it look like as you started growing, and what does it look like now?
So that's a good question. Lead generation was ingrained in me from the beginning, and a lot of it transpired from what I had done in the past with my food service background. We always had to make a certain number of calls, and out of those calls, we figured 1 out of 10 calls would end up with a sale. So not much different here. A lot of what I focused on was my friends and family. I have a big database of friends just from the years of doing business with different restaurants and restaurant owners and chefs. And so I really focused in on that further.
Did you come into real estate full-time, or how did that work?
I did. So I jumped into it full-time, and it was just the opportunity was there and I jumped on it. To be honest, it was a make or break moment. And that's why I put the bold law in the back of me, because failure wasn't an option, right? I was the only one working in my family. My wife was a stay at home with the kids, and we really didn't have a plan B. It was just, this is it. And then I was doing a few things on the side to supplement a little bit of cash flow in the beginning until the sales came. And I was helping my friend out doing some, he's a hydroseeder and he hydroseeds lawns. I was helping him out making, I don't know, $200 a day. And I ended up missing out on what would have been my first real estate transaction. And I missed out on a commission of, I think it was $8,500.
Wow.
So by making $200 that day, I missed out on a huge opportunity. And I sat in my car after I found that out, and I went to a parking lot and just sat there, and I wanted that salt to really stick in that wound to really affect me, to motivate me to go forward. And
Absolutely.
That was big.
So I think you've answered this a couple of times. I'm going to ask just in case there's anything else. If you were able to go back and tell yourself one thing, what would that be? And I've heard a few. Is there anything else?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's hard. I try not to live in the past. I try to just keep looking forward and driving that bus. The one thing I would tell anybody that's thinking about getting into real estate or is new into real estate is just do it. You got nothing to lose, and yeah, just make those calls. It's worth it. It's a numbers game.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people are saddened by the word no, or if they get hung up on, or if they're disrespected. And, coming from sales, you were a little desensitized to that. And was there anything that anyone has ever said to you that was like totally derailed you, other than you didn't get the listing because you were busy doing something else?
Yeah, I'm a sensitive guy. I try not to let things like that bother me. Sometimes, they do get to me, but not in a big way. But based on my years of sales, I almost get excited now when I hear no's, because there's a certain number of no's before you get to a yes. So
Yep.
when I get that no, I'm like, yes, I'm one step closer. The next call could be that yes. So I just keep that train of thought in mind.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. Like, how do you get to 100 no's? Because there's 1 or 2 yeses in between there.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we know you started off, you did tons of training, you were in the productivity coaching program. Where are you now in your coaching world, and where do you see your future?
Yeah, so I love the PC program. Like I said, from there, I dove into the MAPS program. So I have a MAPS coach now. Love what we're doing. I had Mark Richard a little bit in between as well. He was amazing, got me off on the right foot, and I just continue to go along with those MAPS coaches and that training there. Where do I see myself in the future? It's so bright, and I'm trying to always expand my mind as to where I'm going to be, and it's just it's fun to think of that, and the numbers that could be attainable in the future for me, and I plan to have a team eventually, and that's one of my goals in 2022 is to hire my first admin and continue to grow and help people. That's why I got into the business. I like helping people and making people feel good.
If folks are on the fence about getting into real estate, what would you tell them?
That's a good question. I mean, if they like real estate, I would say learn more about it, jump into it. You got nothing to lose. It's fun. Don't give up would probably be my biggest tip, because there's a certain point, and once you reach that point, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hear from a lot of agents that started off and they didn't even know how to open Zoom, right? And now they're in our world at Keller Williams, we call them cappers. Now they're cappers, and they're making tons of money, and all of those limiting beliefs and all of those I can't do it, they're gone. There's always that next set. But a lot of people are like, had I given up, it would not look like this.
Very true.
Absolutely. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye.